Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat mga Lifesavers and welcome to another exciting and educational webinar. Ako po si Rodel Ford-Lees and I'll be the one facilitating today's webinar. Napakahalaga po ng ating pag-uusapan dahil ito po ay related pa rin sa pandemic na ating pong kinakaharap. Sigurado po ako na marami po kayong matututunan at sigurado ko rin po na marami po kayong mga tanong about how to stay COVID-free at paano tayo patuloy na makakaiwas sa sakit na ito. Niready namin ang ilang mga topics at mga questions na maaari nating isipin. Gaya ng mga mask na dapat nating gamitin, kung ano ba yung mga disinfectant na effective, at dapat bang i-disinfect yung mga groceries? Yan, actually question ko nga rin yan. Pati nga ba yung gulay at prutas, maaari ba nating dapat i-disinfect? Kaya po, kung may mga tanong po kayo, i-chat lamang po ito sa ating chat box at huwag kakalimutang mag-follow at mag-subscribe sa ating mong Facebook page at YouTube channel. Luckily, makakasama naman natin ngayong hapong ito si Dr. Voltaire Guadalupe. Siya po ang Regional DRRM-H Outcome Manager of the Department of Health para sagutin ang ating mga katanungan. Let's all welcome Dr. Voltaire. Hello, Doc. Magandang hapon.
Hello, magandang hapon, Rodel. I'm glad to be here and I hope I can help everyone if there are any questions. I hope that this will help in our efforts against the current pandemic.
That's true. And gaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, napakahalaga ng ating topic for today kasi I know we've been experiencing this for almost more than half of the year already. And a lot of people are still misinformed of the things na kinakailangan nilang mga gawin, especially kung paano pangangalagaan ng kanilang sarili para makaiwas nga sa pagkahawa sa COVID-19. So, kaya niline up natin yung mga questions natin for today just to be able to be clear sa lahat ng audience natin at maipalam natin kung ano ba yung mga dapat talagang gawin natin as an individual. So, Doc, siguro simulan na natin yung question. Siguro maganda na simulan natin sa mga mask na ginagamit natin. Paano po ba yung dapat na pagsusuot ng mask?
Okay, that is a very important, basic but a very important question. Marami sa atin ang nalilito pa rin sa kung paano magsuot ng mga mask. Maraming klaseng mask at pero maraming sitwasyon na nagtatanong tayo kung tama ba ang aking ginagamit na mask, kung tama ba ang aking paggamit ng mask. So, kadalasan, ang available natin na mask ay yun pong tinatawag natin ng mga cloth masks. Just like this one. Okay? So this one is a cloth mask na and a lot of vendors outside and siya po ang usual na ginagamit natin pag tayo ay lumalabas lang. Okay? Just to go to the grocery or we're walking somewhere or commuting somewhere. Ito naman, yung ating surgical mask, this is usually what the health workers use. Okay? The third most common mask is the N95 mask. Ito medyo may kamahalan. Siya ay ginagamit ng mga health workers at usually it offers more protection. Kaya sinabi natin N95, it's because it filters 95% of particles. Kasama na doon sana yung mga viruses na katulad ng coronavirus. Okay? So going back to your original question is, paano ang tamang paggamit ng mask? Okay? So ang unang-una, for example, if we're using a surgical mask, we avoid touching the outside of the mask. Okay? Or we can strive to use hanggat maaari itong mga straps lang na mask ang hawakan natin. Okay? Mapapansin niyo, may dalawang kulay, may white at may blue side yung mask. The blue side goes out, and the white side is the surface that touches your face. Yun ang dumidikit sa ating mukha. Okay? Also, kung tama ang quality ng inyong mask, sa ibabaw, itong parte na to, mayroon siyang very thin wire. Okay? So we wear the mask by holding the straps, pulling both sides over our ears, and then making sure that the bottom part goes under our chin. The top part is placed on the bridge of our nose, and then we press on the wire on the top part so that kumakorte siya sa ating ilong. Okay? Para medyo snug ang fit. Okay? And then makakatulong din siguro one tip that we learned in the hospitals is that it will help kung susulatan natin ng ating initials. Very small initials dito sa labas, sa outside part, para double purpose. Alam mo kung alin yung outside part ng mask, and hindi kayo magkakapalit-palit ng mask, which would be, of course, disastrous kung magkakapalit-palit tayo ng mask. Sa N95 mask, usually for health workers, ganun din. Meron din siyang wire outside. Okay? And then we use both straps, but the straps go over the head. So iba naman to. Usually, wash your hands first, make sure they're clean, and then you cup the N95 mask, pull one strap over your head, and another strap again follows. And again, we push the metallic band so that it fits well with your shape of your face. Meron pa tayong, and then we can take it off again. Okay. Okay. But of course, we have to make sure that malinis ang ating kamay afterwards. We have to wash it because we assume always that the outside of the mask is dirty.
Yes.
Okay.
Pero, Doc, may follow-up question ako dyan. Yan bang
Yes.
N95 reusable? Not like the surgical mask?
Ideally, all masks are not reusable. Ideally. Pero alam naman natin that whether you're using the N95, this one, or the surgical mask, dahil kukunti lang ating supplies, sometimes we are forced to reuse the masks. Okay? But I'm glad you asked that. Okay? So usually, when we are forced to reuse our masks, we have to put them in a safe place that is cold and dry. And usually, ginagamit namin is a Ziploc bag or a brown bag. Yung Ziploc bag, usually when you take off the surgical mask, again, we don't touch the surface of the front of the mask. And then we try to fold the mask so that the outside is folded like this. So, yung outside, yung blue, we fold it, and then we insert the mask inside the Ziploc bag. Okay. So, yung ibang mga institutions na tinuturuan namin, they make sure that when you get to work, you have a Ziploc bag or a brown bag with at least 2 masks inside for the whole of your shift. Para pag nagamit ng isa, na-soil yung isa, may pamalit.
Yan. Clarification lang din do kasi I've read this article about wearing the mask na if ever daw na
Yes.
kung ikaw yung merong nakakahawang sakit or like kung meron kang COVID, you need to kailangan mong balik rin yung mask. Is it correct? Na there's
Uh,
a difference between the white and the blue part of the mask.
Usually, no, we don't advise anything of that. It's ano medyo malilito ang mga tao pagka ganun ang ginawa natin. So
Mhm.
no, it's not standard practice.
Yan. Okay. How about yung mga mask naman na nabibili ngayon na yung parang mga tela? Is it also advisable to use?
Well, yung mga tela, they're good for when you go out, when
Mhm.
you commute, when you're going out for supplies. But of course, yung mga masks na ginagamit natin na ganun, they are less effective at filtering.
Aha.
Usually, these kinds of masks are polyester, yung synthetic fibers.
Mhm.
Okay? They are not as good at filtering, and they also retain the virus longer. Hindi siya ganun kadaling linisin. So we would advise the better material would be cotton. Yun pong high fiber count o yung masinsin ang pagkakadikit-dikit
Mhm.
ng mga fibers ng cloth. Okay? Ito yung mga um, 100% cotton, hindi yung mga synthetic na stretchable or
Mhm.
yung spandex, medyo matagal siyang mag-retain ng germs pagka ganon. Okay? Meron din
Yeah.
pala tayo, Del, na sorry, I want to mention also, meron tayong mga mask na nabibili sa hardware,
Aha.
yung may valve. Okay,
Aha.
so
Aha.
these valves are also not advised to be used for corona. Okay, kasi
Oh,
they
okay.
are one way. Okay, they do protect the wearer, but when the wearer is the one who is infected and he or she exhales, hindi na filter yung palabas na hangin. So, yung mga katabi mo, kung ikaw ay infected and you're wearing that kind of mask, yung may valve dito, um, at risk pa rin yung mga katabi mo or mga kasama mo.
I see.
So,
Okay. Yan. Doc, eto ba, meron tayong mga different mask dito sa ating screen right now. Yung bang tinutukoy yung na valve, yung parang gray na merong parang bilog dito sa gilid? Is that,
yes.
that the one that we are referring to? Okay.
Yes, that is, yun.
So this one is not really advisable, especially kung meron kang sakit na dala-dala.
Yes, it's
Mhm.
not advisable.
How about yung other mask na nandito sa screen natin? Which one which one should we use against COVID and which one is not really advisable?
Okay, Rodel, I'm sorry, I can't see the other masks.
Hindi nyo nakikita, Doc. Okay, sige. Meron tayo ditong copper mask. Is that correct? Yan. Tapos merong mga tela.
Okay, sorry, I can't see it, but the copper masks are popular. Ayan, I think,
Aha.
wait, let me see. Okay, so I can see on the top with the polka dots, I assume these are the cloth masks.
Aha.
On the upper right is the surgical masks. The middle left is the mask with the valve, which is the one that is not advisable.
Mhm.
In the center is the N95 mask. And then, sorry, which one is the copper mask? The one in the middle, lower middle?
I think it is. I'm not really sure,
Okay.
Doc.
So we don't have
Yeah,
any
the one in the middle.
official, I don't think we have any official ruling on the copper mask at the department. But we do know for a fact that copper is touted to be a antibacterial metal. So if the filtration of the air is okay, then I have nothing against the copper masks. Okay?
Yan. And I guess
And yung gas mask yata on the right, I think this would have a at the very least, it will protect the wearer. Again, it would depend on if the exhaust or the exhaled air is also filtered. Kasi usually ang mga gas mask, they protect the wearer against poison gases. But hindi nila filter yung outgoing air. It's similar to the valve mask.
I see. Okay. Ayan. So, I guess that clears up sa lahat ng mga viewers natin, especially sa maraming... Ako rin kasi personally, I have a lot of mask here sa house. And nauuso ngayon yung merong valve. And I didn't realize na hindi rin pala talaga siya advisable. Especially kung asymptomatic ka and you don't know na meron ka palang dalang sakit. Then yun yung susuotin mo. Yan. So, gaya nga ng itong nandito sa ating screen. Yan. Ito naman, Doc, move on tayo sa next question natin. Kapag naman kumakain sa labas, which is actually something na nakikita na natin ngayon, paano ba dapat yung pagtatabi ng mga mask na suot natin?
Okay. Again, dahil pinapayagan na ngayon ang dine-in sa ating mga restaurants with proper social distancing, it's also a good question to ask on how we paano natin itinatabi ang ating mga mask na ginagamit bago tayo kumain. Okay, so like I mentioned, we should, of course, when we take off our masks, tatanggalin natin siya using the straps. Okay? We fold the outside part inside, okay, para hindi siya nakalabas. And then, as I showed you, we use the Ziploc bag or brown bag, or we could also hang the mask by its straps para siya ay matuyo at mahanginan. Pero lahat ng ating mga gamit, kasama na ang mask, ay wag ho natin ipapagpag, wag natin ibababa sa mga surfaces na madalas hawakan, okay, as courtesy and protection din sa ibang tao, pati na rin sa ating sarili. We also cannot put down the mask anywhere. Kasi pag nadikit yung, alam nyo, nakita nyo yung outer part, we folded the outer part so that hindi siya magkakalot ng germs. Pero nakalabas yung inner part. So pag binaba natin yung inner part, yung part na nakadikit sa ating face, sa isang surface na hindi tayo sigurado na maraming umahawak, and then after eating, isuot natin ulit, and then we are putting ourselves at risk. Okay? So again, I advise bringing along a paper bag or a plastic zip bag, and avoid yung linalagay natin siya sa bulsa natin, nilalagay natin yung mask sa ating bag, or putting it down on the table na ginagamit natin. Okay?
Medyo guilty ako sa mga ilan na yan. Pero Doc, eto, meron akong mga nakikita na na pagka kumakain naman, ang ginagawa nila, binababa lang nila sa may leeg part yung mask.
Yeah.
Is it also advisable to do that?
No, actually. Thank you for mentioning it. Kasi the danger of bringing down the mask to your neck area is that the neck area, when you're normally wearing the mask, exposed ang ating neck area. So pwede tayong magkaroon ng mikrobyo or virus or bacteria in our neck area, and then pag inakyat natin, so mahinga din natin yung virus or yung dumi. So we should make sure that the masks are comfortable para hindi na natin hinahawakan, hindi na natin binababa, tinataas, or even hanging it by one ear is not advisable. Madalas namin nakikita yan.
Yes.
Nakalabas ang ilong, nakalabas ang nasa leeg, or minsan nga nasa taas nasa ulo, and then hanging by an ear. Yun. We should try to avoid that.
So it's always better na just take it off. Kasi
Yes.
exposed din yung buong katawan mo with the virus. So you don't want to put that also in the mask. Okay, ngayon naman Doc, let's move on tayo sa pagdi-dispose naman ng ng mask, especially yung mga disposable mask natin. How do we properly dispose it?
Well, again, the same procedure. When we take off the mask, usually again we take it off by the straps, and then we fold it so that the outside or dirty part is in, and then huwag nating ipapagpag, ipasok natin sa isang bag, and then or paper or plastic bag, and then we can dispose of it. Iingatan din natin kasi para din hindi maput at risk ang ating mga garbage collectors. Okay? Or yung mga kasama natin sa bahay, baka lipa rin yung mask. So we have to secure. Usually in the hospitals, we have contract out garbage disposal for medical waste. So in the home, it would be better kung mag-ingat din tayo para hindi kumalat-kalat yung mga mask natin.
Ayan. Okay, Doc, let's move on naman dun sa isa pang protection, which is the face shield.
Okay.
Ito, ang question.
Yes.
Actually, pwede bang gamitin ulit yung face shield? At paano ba yung tamang pag-disinfect nito?
Okay. Good. Another good question. So, usually we're required when we go out to use face shields such as this. Okay? And it helps us, again, two-way. It protects us, and it also protects those who are around us. When we have finished, at the end of the day, using the face shield, it would help to use a cleanser. Okay? It's either we use soap and water, which is the most common available disinfectant. And tama na po yun. Pwede rin naman po ang ating 70% alcohol spray. Okay, so we can, if we spray, for example, like this, both sides, we can, and then we can reuse it. We have it dry for at least 10 minutes. Okay, it should be wet for at least 10 minutes. Okay? Para sigurado tayo na medyo mamamatay talaga yung virus. So we can use wipes, the common wipes, kung wala tayong soap and water. And then we wipe down the face shield. So make sure we cover all the surfaces. And then we can reuse it again.
Doc, meron ako mga nakikita na fashionable face shield. Is it something
Yes.
na could also protect us with the virus?
Well, if we are thinking of the same face shield, yung mga may
May
tint,
mga shades.
yung mga
Yung may mga tint.
shades, yes, we can still be protected. But mind you, I've been trying to find that kind of face shield na full face. Wala akong mahanap. Puro half face lang. So, hindi mas advisable ang full face na face shield. Yung buong mukha ang natatakpan. Kasi meron talaga tayo na half face lang yung eyes lang na natatakpan. So,
and it is advisable as hindi rin advisable na face shield lang, walang mask. There should always be a mask.
At present, our protocols would recommend both the mask and the face shield.
Yeah.
Maybe if we have better control of the virus, then maybe we can be more permissive dun sa ating use of personal protective gears. But at present, yun pa ang ating recommended.
Yan. And gaya nga nang nasabi mo kanina, Doc, na it's really important for us to disinfect our hands by hand washing and of course by using alcohol. Yung bang sanitizer is also effective with in fighting against this virus?
Yes. Hand sanitizer and 70% alcohol, particularly the ethyl alcohol, are acceptable substitutes to hand washing. Of course, hand washing with soap and water is still the preferred method of disinfecting hands. Pagka po may visible, ang clue dyan is pagka nakikita mong madumi ang kamay mo, better ang hand washing. Kasi ang alcohol and hand sanitizer cannot completely take off yung dumi sa kamay. So, alcohol and hand sanitizer are also deactivated by dirt. So, mas maganda sana na primary disinfectant natin for hands is soap and water, and then saka pa lang yung alcohol or alcohol.
And you can also do both.
You can also do both.
Wash and then alcohol at the same time. Pero is there any other substitute aside from those process? Wala nang iba? Or yun lang talaga?
Well, there are other substitutes out in the market, but they are uncommon. Meron tayong mga, for example, yung chlorhexidine or yung iodine na hand wash, but they are a little more expensive and a little less common. Hindi sila masyadong available.
And pag naman lumalabas tayo, Doc, when we are usually out of in the public, gaano ba dapat kadalas tayo gumamit ng disinfectant or ng mga alcohol and hand sanitizer?
Okay. Well, a good advice would be to wash at least every hour. But of course, it's not always possible to have soap and water. At the very least, you should remember to wash when you have been in a public place, when you have touched items or surfaces that are usually frequently touched by other people. For example, mga light switch, door handle, mga ATM buttons, tables, shopping carts, or pag may humawak ka sa ibang tao, halimbawa you shook hands or ikaw ang hinawakan, then please don't forget, before touching anything else, especially your face, your mouth, hands, or eyes, kailangan mag-wash ka ng kamay ulit. So usually every hour would be safe, but again, be conscious of what you touch kasi maaring may ibang humawak dun eh.
Ako kasi, Doc, medyo praning ako pag nasa labas. So parang every time may hahawakan ako, like nag-alcohol. So I guess it's better to be that way when you're outside.
I agree.
And,
especially if you're going to eat, for example.
Yes. Does it also apply when you're at home? Like
yes.
you also need to keep your hands sanitized.
Yes. I would advise that it's a good general rule wherever you are. Even when you're at home, it would be advisable to sanitize the high-touch areas. As I mentioned, yung mga light switch, yung mga cell phones, tabletops, door handles, and other frequently used items.
How about yung mga gloves, Doc? Is it really advisable to wear it as well, especially kung lalabas ka?
Well, there has been a debate about using of gloves. Ngunit sa panahon ngayon, ang advice is it's not required. It's not a standard to use gloves when you are outside, especially since kung COVID ang ating iniisip, hindi naman ingested ang virus. Even if you swallow it, hindi ka mahahawa. Usually, the danger is pag nahinga mo yung virus or napunta siya sa nose mo. At I think it would be more practical na tayo, again, bumalik tayo sa paghuhugas ng kamay with soap and water or use of alcohol or alcohol. Hello? Hello? May konting, yeah. Rodel?
I'm still here. Ayan.
Ayan, there. Yeah.
Ayan. I was telling a while ago, Doc, na it's a new information for me na kailangan nasa ilong or sa bibig. Kasi respiratory tract yung inaatake ng COVID. Is that correct? Tama ba, Doc? Kasi
Yes,
before
mainly.
I thought even yung perspiration or yung teardrop mo can also transfer the virus.
There is a very low viral count sa perspiration. I doubt that there is. Sa tears, possible because there's a connection between the eyes and the nose. But again, when we relate this to the use of gloves, the good news is that hindi tumatagos sa skin natin. Sa intact skin, hindi tumatagos yung virus. So the gloves are not required to be worn. Or hindi rin siya practical kahit kung marami tayong gloves, hindi pa rin siya practical na gamitin sa labas. Kasi even if you're wearing gloves, you touch a dirty surface and then you touch your face, then you still put yourself at risk of getting infected. So it's the same. We just generate more waste.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Yan. Eto, moving on naman tayo sa next question natin, Doc. Pag naman tayo, of course, when we go out, we usually do our grocery. Dapat ba dinidisinfect din lahat ng binili nating items?
Okay. Yeah. When we go to the grocery, again, this is a high traffic area. Maraming tao, hindi natin kilala ang mga bumibili ng mga items. I would say that we should avoid touching anything as much as possible when we go out. But of course, when we go to the grocery, we are forced to handle yung mga items, cans or vegetables or fruits and packages. So, it's good to know that there are certain, that it's good to reassure ourselves by disinfecting yung mga items na binibili natin. So when we go to the groceries, again, touch as little as possible. Usually, ang advice dyan is pag hinawakan mo, kunin mo na. Huwag mo nang hawakan ng lahat ng prutas dun sa store para makapamili ng gusto, pindot-pindutin pa. So, mas maganda na one touch and then buy it na. Okay? There is a low likelihood of getting infected with coronavirus through food. But again, we should clean fruits and vegetables before eating, cutting, or cooking them. Pero yung mga fruits, vegetables na hinahawakan natin, hindi naman natin pwedeng sabunin ng tubig yan. Hindi natin pwedeng i-disinfect na alcohol or soap. So we just use cold running water. Okay? So from the faucet, banlawan lang natin ng tubig na maligam-gam. Okay? Even if you don't plan to eat the peel, kahit hindi natin kinakain halimbawa yung balat ng saging, maganda pa rin na hugasan natin yung lahat ng mga fruits or vegetables kasi minsan pag hinihiwa natin yung fruits ay pumapasok din yung virus or yung germs sa loob. Again, normal cooking temperature will kill the coronavirus and siguro we clean the packaging. Coronavirus has been found to survive for 3 days sa plastic and for 1 day sa cardboard. So, kung ang inyong pinamili ay delata, maaaring iwan nyo muna sa isang lugar, malapit sa labas ng bahay. Kung safe, iwan sa labas ng bahay yung inyong mga delata. After 3 days, it's either nandun pa yung delata mo or at safe na siya or nawala na lang yung delata mo. But sa cardboard naman, 24 hours lang, medyo safe na siya na i-handle. Again, we can wipe down. Kung kailangan na natin ipasok yung ating pinamili, we wipe them down with the wipes. Okay, yung mga sanitary wipes natin. Okay? Imagine that all of the items that we bought have a thin film of dust. Yun ang i-imagine na natin para i-wipe natin sila. Okay? To get rid of the viruses kung meron man that they have acquired through handling.
Yeah. How about, Doc, yung mga like frozen goods or yung mga items na you need to put sa fridge? What if merong virus din yung sabi natin yung meat product na nabili mo? Is it also, will it also stay sa because you're going to put it in the fridge?
It's possible, Rodel, thank you. It's possible that the viruses will live longer sa cold conditions. So it's better na pagka ganyan ng mga food products ay iluto natin ng maigi. So the standard cooking time will kill coronavirus naman. The coronavirus is not a very hindi siya matibay na mikrobyo. So madali naman siya mapatay, lalong-lalo na sa init.
Ayan, okay. How about yung mga pera naman, Doc? Do we need to disinfect it as well?
Yeah. Ang mga coins at saka mga paper money natin, alam naman natin that they will last years and years. At during the lifetime of these coins or paper money, marami ang hawak sa kanila. So, of course, it will be useful na i-disinfect natin yung ating mga pera na hinahawakan or better yet, gumamit na lang tayo ng cashless transaction kung pwede, kung maaari. So, ang disinfection usually is the most common way that we disinfect paper and metal is again yung either bleach solution or alcohol na 70% isopropyl.
So, kailangan lang i-spray, Doc?
Pera na hinahawakan. Yes. Or better yet, gumamit lang. There's a
Hello, Doc? Ayan, oo nga.
Hello. Yes.
Ayan, okay. Gusto ko lang ipaalala muna sa lahat ng mga viewers natin na maaari rin po kayong mag-send ng inyong mga katanungan, especially kung meron kayong mga question regarding po sa ating pinag-uusapang topic. I-message lang po kami sa chat box po on both Facebook and YouTube. Ayan. Let's move on naman, Doc. Of course, gaano ba ka-importante naman pagka, of course, lalabas tayo, gaano ka-importante na dapat maligo tayo pagdating sa bahay?
Okay. Ito, very standard question to, lalo na para sa mga frontliners. But everyone would benefit from protecting their family, yung mga kasama sa bahay. And yes, I do advise that if you go out, it would be better that when you get home, hindi lang yung paliligo eh. We usually, at the front of the house, we dedicate a low traffic area, yung hindi masyadong dinadaanan ng mga tao, and yun ang gagawin mong disinfection area. Pwedeng garahe, pwedeng laundry room, pwedeng yung sa tabi ng front door, and then doon po tayo mag-disinfect. So doon natin sisimulan. Pwede natin tanggalin yung mga gamit natin na dirty laundry halimbawa, maglagay tayo ng kortina doon at saka hamper, and then doon natin ilagay ang ating outside clothes for the outside use. Again, tandaan natin, huwag mo natin ipapagpag ang ating mga maduduming damit. Yung ating hamper o lalagyan ng maduming damit, pwede nating lagyan ng disposable na liner na dinidisinfect natin frequently. It would be better if we separate our work clothes from our house clothes. And then when we do get home, pati ang ating footwear, tanggalin na natin sa labas ng bahay. Pwede natin sprayan ng chlorine o yung mga tipong Lysol, disinfectant. And then we do have to take a shower as soon as we get home. Bago tayo dumikit, humawak sa mga kasama natin sa bahay or even sa furniture or other items. Again, we clean every surface. Kahit yung ating mga, for example, watch, ang ating mga gadgets, jewelry, necklace, as much as possible, we don't use it. But if we do use it, we have a different set for the home and for outside use. Okay? So, yeah, we have to be conscious of everything that we touch and use outside and inside the home.
Mm-hmm. Meron ba, Doc, special na paglalaban ng damit for your, especially dun sa mga damit na ginamit mo outside the house? Or
Yes.
it's the same process?
Well, marami naman na nag-attest na ang coronavirus is easily killed with the detergent, regular detergent. But ang aming advocacy ngayon is to be safe, we also use bleach. When we wash clothes. Dinadagdagan natin ng Clorox.
Yan. Okay. Let's move on sa ating next question naman. And you talk about the bleach, Doc. Paano ba yung tamang paggawa ng bleach solution naman for disinfectant?
Okay. Well, there are several ways to make bleach, but the most practical would be yung paggamit natin ng commercial bleach na nabibili sa grocery. Usually ito ay mga 5 to 10% sodium hypochlorite. Yung ating ginagamit na, for example, yung mga brand name na, pwede ba mag-mention ng brand name or hindi?
Okay lang, Doc.
Either Clorox or Lysol, Domex. Okay, hindi po ako tumatanggap ng bayad for that. But we can dilute pag madumi talaga, if we are health workers and we are trying to disinfect items na, for example, yung hospital gowns, scrub suits, pwede yung 1:10 dilution. Okay? Pero pagka yung punas lang sa mga surfaces, tables, sa mga elevator buttons, sa light switches, pwedeng 1:100 dilution. Okay, so lang yan. We measure usually with a small cup. 1 ml is to 10 ml. Or 1 ml, dilute it with 9 ml water to make a 1:10 dilution of bleach.
Ayan. Okay, yung bleach na yan, Doc, pwede na yan gamitin anywhere or whatever surface it is. Pwede rin sa damit, pwede rin sa gamit sa bahay and other stuff.
Usually, the 1:10 or 1:9 dilution is used for yung madudumi talaga na mga surfaces na with dirt or yung blood or mga sipon, mga dumi ng tao, mas preferred yung ganun mataas na dilution. Yung for common surfaces lang, yung tabletop, yun ay 1:99 dilution ang ginagamit natin ng commercial bleach.
Yan. Okay. Sa lahat ng ating mga viewers, again,
sorry.
kung meron kayong... Yes, Doc?
Yeah. Rodel, I'd like to add, yung bleach pala, we have to use it within 24 hours kasi medyo nawawalan siya ng bisa pag lumampas na ng isang araw ang pagtimpla natin. And then contact time for the bleach is about 1 minute na dapat basa yung surface para effective ang kanyang pag-disinfect. We also have to keep in mind that we avoid yung inhaling the fumes ng ating bleach kasi masama yan for our health.
Ayan, yan, importante yan. Kasi sayang naman kung maggagawa ka ng solution tapos di mo rin naman gagamitin. Mawawalan lang ng bisa. Ayan, so dapat within 24 hours gamitin po natin yung gagawin nating solution. Okay, sa lahat ng ating mga viewers, again, I'm inviting everyone to give their questions now and we're opening up the Q&A sa lahat ng mga viewers na maaring or gusto magtanong para kay Doc Voltaire, especially with regards sa ating topic. Ito na nga, Doc, meron tayong mga questions right now. Galing kay Jeff Del Mundo at ang kanyang question, yung ginamit po ba na face mask, dapat po ba isampay pa, ibilad sa araw, or painitin sa likod ng aircon? Siguro, he's asking kung recommended ba yung mga ganong klaseng ways of na pagtatabi or pag-ano sa disinfect ng face mask.
Yes, I've come across an article and ang pinakamaganda daw na way of disinfecting a face mask is using the rice cooker. Okay? Walang tubig doon sa rice cooker and then we just put the face mask inside the how do we call it? Yung pan ng rice cooker. Ano na siya, very effective na siya sa pag-disinfect. Hindi kasi natin pwedeng labahan yung face mask kasi nasisira yung kanyang fibers and yung filtering ability niya. But again, we can just hang it by the straps or put it inside a clean Ziploc or brown paper bag. Just make sure na we fold it first.
Yan. Ito, nabanggit kasi niya, Doc, ni Jeff, yung pagbilad sa araw. Meron na bang study, Doc, na nakakapatay talaga ng COVID virus yung sikat ng araw?
Well, I'd say yes. Nakakapatay ng virus yung sikat ng araw. But the question there would be, hindi natin ma-standardize yung sikat ng araw eh. Sometimes it's cloudy out, sometimes it's really hot, matindi ang sikat ng araw. So the hotter the better, but hindi natin siya matansya. We cannot estimate the effectiveness to be able to recommend a standard number of hours.
Okay, next question tayo dito. Ang kanyang katanungan, kung may kumapit na virus dun sa mask, tama po ba na pwedeng makahawa sa hangin papunta sa mask?
Yes, kung may kumapit na virus dun sa mask, we should not, again, hindi natin dapat ipagpag yung mask. Yung hangin, it's unlikely na siya ay makahawa kung halimbawa nasa tabi mo yung mask, nahanginan yung mask, as long as hindi siya napapagpag, hindi ka naman usually mahahawa sa virus.
Eto Doc, may question tayo dito pero I think nasagot na natin to a while ago pero siguro na-late siya ng pasok. Ang kanyang katanungan, ang copper mask po ba ay effective talaga?
Okay. Well, wala pa tayong standard recommendations for the copper mask. It is not yet in our protocols, but copper is a widely used material believed to be antibacterial. And nakita naman siya na viruses and bacteria live less or shorter times pag nakadikit sila sa copper. So it does have some protective qualities, but again, it would depend on yung filtering ability ng mask. Kaya hindi pa natin na sa standardize yung recommendations regarding these devices.
Ayan, ito
They
naman
may
question.
or they may not help.
Mhm. Ayan, galing naman kay Stella Surel. Ask ko lang po, yung iba po kasi nakasabit sa tenga ang mask habang kumakain. Okay po ba ito?
I would say no. It's not okay. Again, maaari pa rin malaglag yung mask. Maaring dumikit yung inner surface ng mask sa hindi malinis na bahagi ng ating katawan, like our neck, our chin, our other outer cheeks. At again, it would be better kung itatabi natin na maayos yung ating mask habang tayo kumakain or umiinom.
Ayan. Ito naman ang katanungan galing kay Ilan at ang kanyang question, are the UV light emitting products which are commercialized nowadays advisable for disinfection? Is it safe to use?
Okay. Well, UV light has long been a method, recognized method of disinfection. Ginagamit mo yan sa mga ospital, ginagamit sa mga industries. But the question would be yung quality ng ating machines. Kasi it would depend on how strong the UV light produced by the machine is and gaano katagal din ang exposure. We have for a certain amount of UV radiation, we need also a specified length of time of exposing the material para siya ay masigurado na medyo malinis yung dinidisinfect natin. Ang isa pang problem sa UV light is it's not safe for human exposure. It's just like the rays of the sun, where we have UV light exposure, nakakasunog po yun. Especially sa ating mga mata, it's dangerous for the eyes to be exposed for a long time to UV radiation.
Yan. Ito naman question galing kay Johnny Mendoza. What is the best method in disinfection in the workplace?
Okay. In the workplace, okay, for skin or hands, soap and water again would be best. For surfaces, it would be chlorine or bleach solution would be the most popular method and available method. We can use commercial disinfecting solutions. Yung mga dati na chlorhexidine, for example, pwede natin gamitin. But again, we go back always to soap and water or disinfectant. Kung virus lang siya, madali naman po mapatay ng soap and water ang ating mikrobyo.
Okay. Doctor, na akong question din. Kasi ngayon, nauuso yung mga tinatawag na parang air purifier, yung parang necklace na sinusuot. Does it help with this pandemic ba, yung ganong klase mga air purifier na wearables?
Okay. Unfortunately, there is no study yet on the effectiveness of these yung pendant size na neck air
Yes.
purifiers.
Mhm.
Kasi medyo mahirap siyang makapag-disinfect, lalong-lalo na kung mahangin yung area sa labas. Especially kung mahangin naman yung air sa labas, then it's really not that important to disinfect the air. Nadadilute na yung ating virus pagka mahangin ang or open air ang ating area. In closed areas, it might help, but again, we have no studies to support the use of these devices at the moment.
Ayan. Okay.
Not even the
Ito,
WHO, the DOH, or the CDC have any advice on the use of these devices.
yan. Ito, question lang galing kay Maria Cristina Lopez Rojas. Actually, nasagot na to kanina. Ang surgical mask po ba ay pwedeng ma-reuse ulit?
Before the pandemic, surgical masks would never be reused. But because ano naman, mainly, the original intent for the use of surgical mask is to protect the patients who are being operated on from being infected pag huminga yung surgeon or yung mga nurses na nag-oopera sa kanila. But since we are using surgical masks now for coronavirus, it is tolerated for us to reuse surgical masks due to the practicality of using surgical masks or even cloth masks then.
Yan. So, importante lang, of course, to take precautions when you're keeping it. Yan.
Yes.
So, clarification, Doc, galing kay Bella Ardenio. Ask ko lang po, yung 1 liter po ba, 1 ml lang ang halong Clorox?
Ang 1 liter kasi is 1,000 ml. So, masyado siyang dilute pagka 1 ml lang ang nilagay natin. The usual dilution is 1:1 ml of chlorine solution to 9 ml for really hazardous materials. Yung nga sabi ko, yung dumi, body fluids, yun, mga 1:9 ang dilution natin. Pero pagka siya ay for surfaces, 1:100. So 1 ml is to 99 ml kung tayo mag-dilute. 1 liter kasi is 1,000 ml. So we can use 10 ml to 1 liter.
Ayan. Okay. I guess that's the end of our Q&A for today. Maraming pong salamat, Doc Voltaire, Guadalupe. And of course, before we end our webinar, we would like to present a certificate of appreciation to Dr. Voltaire Guadalupe. From UNTV News and Rescue, Certificate of Appreciation is hereby presented to Voltaire S. Guadalupe, MD, MPH, Regional DRRM-H Outcome Manager from DOH, for sharing his valuable expertise in the webinar. Staying vigilant against COVID-19 or mga dapat malaman upang makaiwas sa COVID-19. Given on the 17th day of September 2020, signed by Rescue Manager UNTV, 9/11 UNTV Benedict Calasan, Heraldo Panghulan, our Deputy Chief of 9/11 UNTV, and of course, Angelo De La Paz, Training Officer of 9/11 UNTV. Yan. Any last few words or messages, Doc, for our viewers?
Yes. Well, again, I'd like to thank everyone for listening, for tuning in. We do have this duty to spread correct knowledge at every opportunity. Siguro ang gusto ko lang sabihin to everyone during this times of pandemic is we should remember to keep calm, to cooperate, and to carry on. We need to understand everything that we are facing, including this crisis, worldwide crisis that we are facing. And once we understand and we know how to respond, we have nothing to fear. So we move on, and the new normal has opportunity to make us all better. Thank you.
Maraming salamat again, Doc. And of course, that's the end of our special Lifesaver webinar for today. And I hope you learn a lot, and we'll keep in mind all the things that we learned so that we and our family can stay COVID-free during this pandemic. If you would want, of course, to have a certificate of attendance, we will be posting an exit quiz a few minutes after this live stream. And please take and get a passing score to be able to qualify in getting the certificate. Huwag din pong kakalimutan na mag-subscribe to our official Facebook page at sa ating pong YouTube channel to get more updates from Lifesaver. Again, ako po si Rodel Flordelis. You can follow me in my social media accounts at Rodel Flordelis on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, on YouTube, Nog in the City Vlogs. Until next time, God bless at magandang hapon sa inyo lahat.
God bless.